This is the Bunny Slippers Are Evil Job Seekers Call-In Show. And now, a word from our sponsors. Evil Bunny Consulting is the job search alternative to expensive outplacement. For more information, go to bunnyslippersareevil.com. Let 3dresumes.net turn your resume into a web page with a customized domain for 12 months for only $30. Help hiring managers and recruiters find you and make your resume available 24/7 and get a free professional email address just for your job search. You can see my online resume at tyronegriffin.com, and to get your own, go to 3dresumes.net. If you are thinking or about to look for a job in today's world, you will find a new reality in the job search process. The world has changed. Job search today is much more complicated than 5 years ago. Volumes of resumes, more applicant screening systems, depersonalized applications, panel interviews, team hiring, long complicated applications, branding and social media. Yes, the world has changed. But have you? Are you still trying yesterday's approach? Why struggle and miss out on today's opportunities? Career Oyster is here to help. Great coaches, the latest resources, unique strategies, person tailored to your job search. Find out the new reality and how you can prevent costly mistakes. To register for a free 45-minute private lesson with Howard Caddy, go to careeroyster.com. Find the facts now. You'll be glad you did. Remember their motto, the world is your oyster, be the pearl. Today is Saturday, July 15th, 2017, and this is the Bunny Slippers of Evil Job Seekers Call-In Show, presented by Evil Bunny Consulting. I'm your host, Tyrone Griffin, and if it's 3 p.m. you have on your bunny slippers, you are not looking for a job. Welcome first-time and returning listeners. In this show, we discuss strategies and tactics of job search, staying motivated and dealing with career transition. For more tips, resources, daily motivations, and to listen to archive shows, go to the website, bunnyslippersareevil.com. They will also find links to our Facebook page, our Twitter handle, and our YouTube channel. If you are listening live, you can Facebook me with your questions or call 347-202-0929. Again, that number is 347-202-0929. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for tuning in one more time. If I look sweaty, it's because I'm doing that Bikram yoga, and it's no joke. So anyway, let's get right to it. I hope everybody's having a good summer. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about today. And today, I missed it 2 weeks ago because I was on vacation, but we're here today to talk about Job Search Q&A. So this is our monthly show where I just answer the questions that people have been asking me during the week, or if you got a question right now, you can hit me up on Facebook Live right here or here or here, depending on how you got your screen oriented, and I'll try to answer them for you. But I'll start with the questions that I got during the week. One of the questions I got was somebody asked the question, they've been in job search for a few months now, and their question is they've been offered a position that is a little below what they consider below where they are, and should they take it? And first of all, there is no right or wrong answer to that question of whether you should take what we call a bridge job. You know, it's not necessarily where you want to be, but you got other considerations. One other consideration you got when you get offered a bridge job when you're in transition. How much money do you have? Point blank. Do you have enough money? You don't have a job. So if you don't have another income in the house, if you don't have a savings account that's pretty healthy, you're paying your bills out of wherever you can get your money from. Will this job help you pay your bills? It may not be what you want, but does the company meet payroll? And that's really what it comes down to. That's one consideration, how much money you have. Number two, the reason we think about these things is, let's take a step back. Our identity, and we can say it isn't that, but for the most of us in this country, in our society, and probably around the world, our identity is wrapped up in what we do. So think about when people talk about their son-in-law or daughter-in-law. My son-in-law is a doctor, or my daughter-in-law is a CEO, or our identity is wrapped up in what our job title is. We meet somebody at a cookout, family cookout, and we make small talk, and then somebody says, "So what do you do?" "Oh, I do this," and we identify people, unfortunately, by what they do. So it's an ego thing. I'm gonna say it's an ego trip, but it's an ego thing. You want to have a good job title. You know, guys, if you're a single guy out there and you're trying to meet somebody, or single woman as well, you want to impress them with your job title, and that's just the reality of it. And I'm not saying that's for everybody, but a lot of our society, whether we like it or not, is wrapped up in what is our job title. So when you get offered a position that you consider to be lower than what you want, you start thinking about that. Well, I was at this level. Now I'll be this. I don't want to be a this. I want to be a that. But again, it goes back to that first question. Do you have money? Do you have enough money in your account to keep it moving? Do you have enough money to pay your bills, feed your family? At the end of the day, you got to feed your family and yourself. We tend to, and it's unfortunate, but I'm not saying everybody, but we tend to look down on some low-paying jobs, low-skill jobs as we call them. Maybe you're people that are, picking our strawberries and grapes and fruit and things like that put food on our table. The people that are working in fast food restaurants. A lot of times we tend to look down on those people, for whatever reason. And that's not, that's the reality of what it is. So when you ask that question, should I take this job? All of that is wrapped up in your head of what will people think of me? I used to be I'm sorry, I'm sweating here. I used to be this and now I'm this, and people say, oh, you're not there and blah, blah, whatever. There's points in your life where you have to swallow your pride. Plain and simple. There are points in your life where it's not about the title. It's about feeding your family. Now, I'm not saying you should take that job. It depends on your circumstances. Here's another question: will that job help you? Will that job help you pay your bills? If you're in a situation where taking that job is not really going to help you financially, or maybe the job will cost you because the job is far away someplace. Those are the things you got to consider. Will this move me forward? Will this be a sum gain in this job? Will I spend more getting back and forth to this job than I'll make in the job? Okay, that's a consideration. But take the ego part out of it. A bridge job is just that. And to be honest, at this point, a lot of jobs are bridge jobs, whether you know it or not. You get offered a position, and you might, it's great money, it's this and that. And you take the job and you don't consider it a bridge job, but it really, 2 years later, you could be out of a job and you realize, oh man, that job was just to get me to this next one. Everything should be about getting you to the next step. So take that into consideration when you get offered something that you don't feel is the optimal job for you. Because we all want that optimal job. But look at your own individual circumstances. I have known a few people who were in transition out of work and were offered a job a few months into their transition, and they felt it was below them. And literally a year later, they were still looking for a job. And part of them, I've had that conversation with people where they'll say, I should have took that job. I should have took that job I was offered. And the question becomes, okay, so why didn't you? And, I thought something better was coming along. It was below me, but you don't think it's below you now. And see, that gets into a bigger question of what is your value. We talked about your value a couple of months ago on there. Your value is basically what you can get somebody to pay you. You say, well, I used to make $150,000 a year. That's my value. Not if you can't get somebody to pay you $150,000 a year. Your value is what you can get somebody to pay you. Now, I'm not saying you undercut yourself, but just be realistic. Take your ego out of it. And sometimes you take a bridge job just to keep things moving, just to have money coming in, just to give your mind something to do, just to get your foot in the door. It might be a great organization, but you got to come in at entry level. Well, you get in at that entry level, and then you get an opportunity to see all the positions they have available, that you couldn't have done any other way. But now you get to see all those things they have available. So then maybe that's what that's a reason to take that entry level position, because you're in a great organization. there's no black and white in this situation. There's no way to say, okay, absolutely, if these are the numbers, this is what you do. There's no way to give a definitive answer of that. But my point is, look at your own individual situation. Look at what you have to deal with. If you have family to feed, you got family to feed. And I talked about people picking strawberries earlier. Understand, a lot of those people, they got families to feed. That's why they're doing it. That may not have been their goal in life. Growing up was to go pick strawberries or bananas or whatever. But they got a family to feed. When you see people doing, again, what we call menial labor jobs and low-paying jobs, you think those people are doing those jobs because they just like them? A lot of times those people say, look, I got a family to feed. When you see people taking 2 and 3 buses to get to work and leaving at 4 in the morning just to get to work for a job that doesn't pay that much, and then going to a second job after that, they got the family to feed. I would never look down on somebody like that. You shouldn't either. You're doing what you got to do. So when you get asked that question, when you have to consider that, the first thing is to get your ego out of it. Take your ego out of the discussion and look at it on paper. Write down what the numbers are. If it's a situation, here's another consideration. The job is they want you to work 60 or 70 hours a week, and it's not a job that you really want, but it's going to be so many hours that you won't be able to continue looking for the job you really want. That's the balance you got to do. We've all done it. Look for a job. It's easy to look for a job while you got a job. Is this a job that's going to pay the bills, and while I'm paying the bills, I can look for something better? I know people that have left jobs off of their resumes because it was a bridge job, and they didn't want anybody to know. They didn't want to be evaluated for other jobs based on that job, so they left it off their resume. Well, then you got that big hole. We've talked about resumes. My resume, this is my opinion. I know, trying to jump off on a tangent here, but when you start talking about trying to ignore your bridge jobs, my resume is functional, so it's not chronological necessarily. So I don't have to worry too much about holes and gaps. My resume is about what I do. Go to TyroneGriffin.com. You want to see my resume, it's right there. I haven't updated it lately, but I got to. But anyway, I jumped down a rat hole. Sorry about that. If you're playing a drinking game, take a sip. But again, the original question of should you take that bridge job, that job that is you consider to be below where you want to be. Too many things, I cannot answer that question for you. All I can do is tell you the things you need to consider. Do you have money in the bank? Do you have another income in the house? Will this job pay your bills? Will it allow you to continue to look for a job? Take your ego out of the equation. Take your ego out of the mix. It's not about how you feel. Like I said, we all wrap ourselves up in what we do, and that's one of the big flaws, because every study I've seen said a majority of people hate their jobs, but those are what we evaluate people on, is their current jobs. So take that out of the equation. Okay, next question was, how do you manage headhunters? And that's I guess we call it a derogatory term, but how do you handle recruiters? If you're working, how do you handle when different recruiters reach out to you? Because let's be honest, we've all been there where the recruiters reach out to, it's cyclical. It's very cyclical. It's like you're hot and then they ignore you, and then you're hot and then they ignore you, and then you're hot. You have to manage that relationship with your recruiter. Let's take a step back, and I always say that, but the recruiter is doing a job. They might have got a job requisition, and they're trying to fill it so they can get their money. That's all they're doing. In very rare cases, except in very rare cases, they don't want to be your friend. They don't want to be your buddy. They don't want to be your drinking buddy, your hangout partner. They want to fill this job requisition, period. That's all they want to do. So don't get it twisted when that recruiter or that headhunter is your buddy and hey, let's hang out. That person is the job to do. Okay? You're special, and I don't mean to disparage the people in the profession, but you are special to them as long as they have a job rec that you might fill. Okay, let's be clear about it. you they get a rec. They think you might fill one of the recs they got. You're their special friend. In most cases, when they don't have a job rec for you, it's a little better now, but it used to be, I mean, they literally flat out ignored you. Wouldn't return your phone calls, and I've been there, where they wouldn't return your phone calls, they wouldn't talk to you. But then, when they need you a year later, they're like, hey, you got any people look like this? And here's the dilemma you have. You're dealing with a recruiter who, they had a job rec, they thought you were the one, you didn't get it, they ignored you. They dropped all communication with you for several months, maybe a year. All of a sudden, out of the blue, they call you. Hey, you know anybody who does XYZ? We're looking for somebody that does this. And how are you doing? They'll talk to you a little bit. Here's the dilemma with that, because your first inclination is to not help them. But if you've been in transition with other people in transition, you're not helping that headhunter, that recruiter, you're also not helping one of your friends in transition. Think about, you're in a situation where they say, well, you know anybody who does da da da? And you know somebody who does that. You know somebody who might be perfect for that position, for that opportunity. What do? Simple. What do? You don't want to help this recruiter because they ignored you. You feel like a spurned lover. But by not helping that recruiter, you're not helping your friend, or not possibly helping your friend. Once you've been in transition for a minute, you get to know other people in transition, and the best feeling in the world is when you can help one another. Okay, so what do? You either swallow your pride and connect them, and okay, I did a good thing, or you say, nope, I'm not going to help this person no matter what. I'm not going to help this person, and you end up not helping your friend. That's the dilemma. So how do you manage that relationship? First thing, again, is just understand what the relationship is. You are special to a recruiter for one reason. They have a job rec that matches some things that you might have done, that they might be able to put you in a position. Okay? And if they can put you in a position, they're getting paid. Let's be clear. Nobody does stuff out of the goodness of their heart. I love my job. Many people around the world say that. They love what they do. Let their company miss payroll. You see how much they love what they do. Okay? So understand that recruiter is not your friend. They can become friends if your personalities match and whatever else. But when they reach out to you, they have a job to do. Luckily, their job helps you, because if they reach out to you and you make a connection and they have a job requisition that fits your background, love connection, and you get an opportunity to interview for a job. That's the greatest thing in the world. I've told my story here. Recruiter reached out to me after 5 years. 5 years, this person had my phone number and reached out to me after 5 years. I hadn't heard a thing from them. And from that, I ended up with a great opportunity. So, just like I said with the original question earlier, put your ego aside. Put your ego aside. It's not about you. If you're in transition, first of all, if you're in transition, you need to put your ego aside anyway. Period. You're in transition. Second, especially in this case, you know what? Understand a relationship for what it is. They reach out to you after 6 months, a year, or whatever, and they got an opportunity for you or somebody else. If it's for you, jump on it. Consider it. If it's for somebody else, make the connection for them. Swallow your pride, make the connection. But manage. You can manage that relationship. So what you want to do is between, again, your attractiveness is like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay. When they got a rec with your name on it, your attractiveness is like this. When they don't have a rec with your name on it, your attractiveness is down there. What you want to do is make them part of your network. We talked about how you build your network like a spider web. Make the recruiter, the hiring manager, or the recruiter, hiring manager too, great, would be great. Make them part of your network. Make them, and work with them that way. Keep them updated, keep them abreast. Because here's the thing, recruiters know people. Many times I've had a recruiter and I've said, hey, I have somebody who does this. And they're like, you know what, that's not the kind of position that we recruit for, that we specialize in. But I know somebody. And they'll give you somebody else's number. Recruiters, even though they're cutthroat, they are pretty open to helping you find a job. If it's not with them, they are pretty open to telling you, call this person at this firm. They handle that kind of thing. Okay? And their rationale is simple. I can't make any money off you. You know, I can't fill the job for you. So let me just pass you on to somebody else who might be able to help you better. Okay? So that's how you manage that relationship. That's one way you manage that relationship. You reach out to them. Just like with a hiring manager. If you get a hiring manager in your network and you want to keep them abreast of, you want to put your face, your name in front of their mind all the time. So you want to reach out to them on a regular basis. Okay? You want to stay in touch with them. Recruiters, same thing. Reach out to them on a regular basis. Hi, I just wanted to check in, just wanted to touch base with you. Try to have a conversation, okay, with that recruiter. Have that where they remember you. Because here's the thing, and the thing I'm trying to teach my son. As you become an adult, you realize with life, a lot of things are about the intangibles. A lot of opportunities happen in life because of intangible things like you're a good networker. People like you. Sounds crazy, but that's how a lot of the world goes around. If people like you, they will do for you. They will be more interested in doing things for you if they like you. Okay? So you want to get that recruiter to like you. I'm not saying taking flowers and stuff like that, but develop, if you got a funky attitude, and people know who you are, if you got a funky attitude, tighten that up in general. Because I'm telling you now, in transition especially, if you got a funky attitude, people know you got a funky attitude. And those are the people who will not help you if you have a funky attitude. Okay? People will not help you. That's just the reality. But that's life. Particularly when you're dealing with people in transition. When you're in transition. I know you want to be mad at the world because you lost your job and that idiot down around in the other office didn't lose his job. You know, there are many idiots with good jobs because they understand the system. They have a pleasant personality. You know those people, really sweet, nice person. Don't know jack, but they got the right attitude. Attitude is everything. Okay? Attitude, that whole thing about your attitude dictates your altitude. Yeah, that is very true. Okay? So have a good attitude. Understand that recruiter's job is to fill that one rec they got, or that list of job requisitions that they have. But also, they got connections. And it is not unheard of for a recruiter to say, you know what? I don't have a job rec, but I know this guy, this company's hiring manager. He's looking for something. He hasn't necessarily contracted with us yet, but he has in the past. So maybe if I can introduce you and you guys can make a connection, then it will put me in a good light. I gave him a freebie. I gave him somebody, I said, hey, I'm not getting a commission off this, but this is somebody I know and I think they might be good at this position that you're looking for. Bam, here you go. And they connect you up with an interview, and that interview leads to a job. And I'm like, yeah, they paid for it, but they were playing the long game. They are playing the long game because the next time that person has a job requisition, they're going to remember, this guy hooked me up for free. Let me go through his firm first. Let me give him a shot. Okay? Yeah, you're a pawn and all that, but you know what? Hey, if it ends up you with a job, be a pawn. No shame in that game. Be a pawn if it ends up with you being employed. So manage your recruiter, headhunter, whatever you want to call them. Manage them just like you manage everybody else. They put their clothes on just like you do, one pant leg at a time. It is very easy to get mad at recruiters, again, because when you're down here, they don't reach out to you. Most of them don't. Best one that I ever had, they sent a quarterly newsletter. That was all they did. They sent a quarterly newsletter with job search tips. So they sent it to a bunch of people. And it seems minor, it seems like a real simple thing to do, but nobody else was doing it. So once a quarter, when you were working, you saw their name. So think about what happened when somebody says, you know what, I need to look for a job. I need to get out of here. This place sucks. How do I do it? Oh, this company keeps sending me. Let me call them. Bam. That's why they do it. That's what the smart recruiters do. Smart job seekers, on the other hand, you got to reach across that gap. Because the recruiters, a lot of days, recruiters won't reach across that gap. They will not try to help you out. They will not try to do anything other than when they got that job ready. And that's just the truth. They don't got a job to fill. They don't want nothing to do with you. So those are the two questions I had this week. If I had any others, I'm sorry. I had a Brussels sprout this morning, and it had a excuse me, pepper in it. Oh gosh, it's going down the wrong way. But in general, with job search, general job search questions, I'll just try to. I got about 5 minutes left. Transition sucks, and I've said that maybe 1,000 times. Being in transition sucks. If you know somebody in transition, they're not lazy. Okay, they are some of the hardest working people in the world because they don't have a job. You know, they don't know, sometimes they may not know where their next meal is coming from. So people in transition work hard. So be respectful of that. You know, don't look down on people because they can't find a job. You know, until you've been out there looking for a job and you realize how random it is. You know, even with a great resume, maybe a great history, it is very random a lot of times, you know, when you can get a job. Because the stars have to align for you to get a job. That's the reality of it. Job transition sucks. So if you know somebody in transition, be kind to them. Try to help them. For one thing, you never know when you're going to be in that position. And it sucks when you don't have any friends and you find yourself in job transition. And I've known a few people like that so turned people off that nobody wanted to help them. So be somebody who people want to help, but also help people. Okay? If you know somebody in transition, I'm not saying do their job search for them, but help them as much as you can. Be there for them. Sometimes all people in transition want is just somebody to listen to them while they vent. That's all they want. Is somebody just sit down, shut up and listen. Just let me get this off my chest because I can't talk to anybody. Okay? So be kind to people. If you find yourself in transition, and a lot of us have, first thing is don't panic. Do not panic. Okay? I know you want to freak out because you don't have a check coming in a certain amount of time. Don't panic. The worst thing you can do is panic. It's like, okay, logically approach it. What do I need to do? I need to line my ducks up. Sit down with a notebook and a piece of paper, a notebook and a pencil. Start writing down what you need to do. But I don't know what to do. I don't know how to find a job. I've been doing the show for 6 years. I know how to look for a job. I'm not saying I know how to find one, but I know how to look for a job. And that's why I do this show, because I want to try to help other people know how to look for jobs. But also I want to help people get through the transition process, because that's the killer, is the transition process. It's not just looking for the job. It's waking up every day emotionally and knowing I don't have a job. What do I do? Okay, that is the crux of job search. It's not the looking for the job. It's the not having a job. So that's why I do this show. But anyway, yeah. So if you find yourself there, again, don't panic. Those are my 2 rules. If you find yourself in transition, don't panic. If you know somebody in transition, help them. Period. Don't do the job search for them. Now, if you're in transition, don't expect anybody to do the job search for you, because I'm not going to do it. Don't email your resume to somebody and tell them to keep an eye out for you for jobs, because they're not going to do it. I'll be the first one to tell you right now, and I say it here because people still do it. Send me your resume and say, hey, keep an eye out for any jobs at this company. Sure, I'll do that. And they never hear from me again. I never open that resume again. It is not my job search. I will not do for you what you can do for yourself. It is not my job search, so I will not look for a job for you. That's just the plain simple. But people still send, every now and then, people will still send me a resume and say, hey, Ty, would you, here's my resume. Would you keep an eye out for positions? Sure. Yeah. Okay, sure. That's like if you want to get married and you tell your boys, yo, man, here's the qualifications I'm looking for. Go find me a woman. Really, dude? Okay. Not going to happen. So, with that said, it's your job search. If you're in transition, don't panic. If you know anybody in transition, help them out as much as you can. Okay? Because you never know when you want to find yourself there. Whew. Every week, I tell you, every week. I'm thankful for everybody who the patience to hang in there, who watch the show live, the people who watch the show later, the people that watch it on YouTube, the people that download it on Blog Talk Radio. I thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate your patience with me. This and my other show, The Secret Math of Money, are not the kind of shows that a lot of people do. A lot of people are into. But I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate the people that tell other people about the shows. So with that, I'm going to end this. I am whooped. If you got a chance to do Bikram yoga, do it. Just do it once and you'll see what I'm talking about. So with that, everybody have a great, great week, and we will talk again next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Today is Saturday, August 6, 2016, and this is the Bunny Slippers of Evil Job Seekers Call-In Show, presented by Evil Bunny Consulting. I'm your host, Tyrone Griffin, and if it's 3 p.m. and you have on your bunny slippers, you are not looking for a job. Welcome, first-time and returning listeners. In this show, we discuss strategies and tactics of job search, staying motivated and dealing with career transition. For more tips, resources, daily motivations, and to listen to archive shows, go to the website bunnyslippersofevil.com. There you also find links to our Facebook page, our Twitter handle, and our YouTube channel. If you are listening live, you can call in with your questions at 347-202-0929. Again, that number is 347-202-0929, or call Facebook Live. But first, a word from our sponsors. Evil Bunny Consulting is the alternative to expensive outplacement. They give job search workshops as well as a one-on-one boot camp. For more information, go to bunnyslippersofevil.com. Resume Edit is the high-quality resume writing company with certified resume writers, starting at just $35. You can see them online at resume4edit.com or call 404-860-2473. And be sure to tell them you heard about them on the Bunny Slippers of Evil Job Seekers podcast. Let 3dresumes.net turn your resume into a web page with a customized domain for 12 months for only $30. Help hiring managers and recruiters find you. Make your resume available 24/7 and get a professional email address just for your job search. You can see my online resume at tyronegriffin.com. And for more information on how to get your own, go to 3dresumes.net. And our last sponsor is Career Oyster. If you're about to look for a job in today's world, you will find a new reality in the job search process. Job search is much more complicated than it was 5 years ago. Volumes of resumes, more applicant screening systems, depersonalized applications, panel interviews, team hiring, long complicated applications, branding, and social media. Yes, the world has changed. But have you? Are you still trying yesterday's approach? Why miss out on today's opportunities? Let Career Oyster help. Great coaches, the latest resources personally tailored to your job search. Find out the new reality and how you can do your job search much better. To register for a free 45-minute session with head coach Howard Caddy, go to careeroyster.com. Remember their motto, the world is your oyster, be the pearl. Well, good morning, everybody. Again, welcome. Thanks for letting me pay the bills for a minute. Today's show is Job Search Q&A. Now, for the new people, the first Saturday of each month, I do Job Search Q&A. Okay, so you can call in with your question at 347-202-0929, or if you listen to me on Facebook Live, you can just type your questions in. So let's get to it. What I do is the questions I've gotten during the week, during the month on job search, I try to answer them. Let me caveat up front, say I'm not a career coach. I'm not a life coach. I'm just a guy that's been laid off a couple of times, been in transition a couple of times. I know a couple of things, and I'm trying to spread the wealth, so to speak. So let's get to it. First question I'm going to talk about today is a simple one. Somebody says, I got laid off. Help, what do I do? Well, first thing you do, if you watched last week's show, I talked about what you can do, the things you can do if you get laid off. But let me just rehash some of those things. First thing you do, I'm not going to go into as much detail as I did last week, though. First thing you do if you just got laid off, is don't panic. I know you're freaking out right now. It's Saturday. A lot of people usually get laid off on Fridays. I got laid off on a Tuesday, but I hear a lot of times they do it on Fridays to give you the weekend for whatever reason. So if you got laid off and you're freaking out, okay, don't freak out. To summarize what I said last week, you got 2 days. You got Saturday and Sunday. You got these 2 days to get through it, to get over it. Because you got to get over it, because your job is now to find a job, period. That's your whole job. That's your whole meaning for existing, blah, 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 whatever. But that is your job, is to find a job, okay? But you got this weekend to gather your thoughts. Get your old resumes together. Write down a list of the people that you can contact, either for a job or who can help you network to other people. Might be an industry you want to go into if you're switching industries, and that's always a good one. How do you switch industries? I've switched industries. I've worked in 3 different industries by pure luck. Plain and simple. I'm not going to sit there and say I planned it that way. But if you want to switch industries, the thing you have to remember, no matter what job you're going to, they want marketable skills. Now, if you're going from say, accounting to biochemical engineering, go back to school, because you're not going to do that unless you're trying to get a job in accounting in the biochemical engineering field. But if you're trying to not just switch industries, but switch occupations from something that's this to something that's totally different, go back to school, depending on what you're trying to switch from and to. I mean, I'm sorry, I can't help you. If you're trying to get chemistry, pre-med, pre-law, those things, you got to have some degrees in front of you to get into those industries. But if you're just trying to switch and stay in your same job, say if you're an accountant, but you're trying to go into accounting, forensic accounting maybe, you want to go into accounting in, again, biochemical engineering company, you're selling your skills, and accounting is something that I can talk about because one of my degrees is in accounting. It's all about counting numbers. The reason I've been able to switch industries, one of the reasons, is because I'm counting numbers. That's what it comes down to. I'm counting numbers. Okay? Whether I'm counting, when I was in the healthcare industry, I was counting claims and things like that and money. When I was in hospitality industry, I was counting reservations, bookings, and nights. Now I'm in technology industry. I'm counting transactions, interactions on the webpage. But I'm still counting. Okay, that's got to be your selling point. What is it that you're doing now that you could easily transfer? What are your marketable skills? In my case, again, the marketable skills were I'm counting, and they want somebody who can count. Okay, but anyway, so you got this weekend to gather your stuff together. Find that place in your house or apartment or wherever, or outside even. I would say my office was a Panera Bread. Find a place where you are going to do your job search every day. You're going to go to that place every day, and you're going to spend 8 hours doing your job search. If you really want to focus on job search, you have to target the space and the time to put into it. Job search is not going to happen by accident. Okay, you're not going to just drop into a job. If you really are looking for a job, then you got to act like it's a job, and your job is to look for a job, and that's what you got to do. Okay, so those are the things you got to do. That I'm missing. Get your resumes together. Redo your resume. You're not totally redo it from scratch, but look at doing it. What if you need to update? What are the things that you need to update in your resume? Okay, so those are the things you're looking at. Now, let me see anything else. And when you get to and Monday morning, hit the ground running. Find your place, your space, and you say, you know what? Especially that first day, you're going to spend a whole lot of time getting yourself together. Notebooks, and just start writing notes. Again, figure out the people that you can reach out to. Now, granted, some people who are your friends, you think they're your friends, and you think that, oh, okay, I can always reach out to this person. Some people, I'm sorry to say, some people will be really happy. Some people will be really happy that you got laid off, and that's the reality of it. That's just how it works. Leave those people alone. But one thing, you will definitely find out who your real friends are. When you're in need of something, that's when you really find out who it is that you can count on, who you can talk to. Because the people you want to network with now, not just the people who can find you a job, but also the people that can keep you mentally focused, the people that can get you back on the right track. When the people that when they see you, they call you up and check on you, and they say, "What you been doing?" "I'm watching Oprah," and they jump on you. Say, "Look, your job is to find a job. Get back to work." Okay, those are the people you need in your life. Those people that are positive. And when you get back to work, remember those people. We tend to put people around us sometimes that aren't always the best people for us. Okay, and we find that out when we need them for something. That, oh, this was not the best person to have around me. Oh, they sell Coke. Okay, maybe this is not somebody I need to have around me. So put positive people around you, and when you get back to work, when you get back situated, keep positive people around you. Those things will help you not get laid off again, believe it or not. So focus on that, keeping positive people around you. But Monday morning, hit the ground running. Go to LinkedIn, build your LinkedIn network. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, go get one, trust me. And start networking with people you know. That's what you do first. Start looking at people you know in LinkedIn. I need to do a whole show on LinkedIn. Maybe I'll do that in the upcoming weeks, just a whole show on how to optimize LinkedIn. But get a LinkedIn account. LinkedIn, in my opinion, is like Facebook for grown folks. Okay, don't have a live ish. You can't go live on it, but LinkedIn is something you definitely want to have your account set up. Okay, get your account set up. Look at other people's accounts. You can do a search on LinkedIn and people with your similar background. Look at their profile. See how they laid it out. Don't plagiarize anybody's background, but look at the structure. Look at what words or keywords they're using, and copy those things. But don't again, I'm not saying copy anybody's background or skills or employment, but copy the structure, copy the layout, see what they're doing, how they're doing things, and that's how you need to structure your profile to get noticed. Okay, that was real quick, down and dirty. Let me see. Summer job search. How do I do summer job search? Well, summer down here in the South, summer has actually come to an end as far as school because kids are back in school now. But one of the things people always say, well, it's hard to look for jobs in the summertime because people are on vacation and nobody wants to interview you on vacation. And you know what? It's like this. That may be true. So then everybody stays away. So then if you don't stay away, all you need to do is connect with one person. And sometimes in the summertime, business is kind of slow, and people will have more time to connect with you. So if you ask somebody out to go have coffee with you to talk about things, or ask somebody to come out to lunch, yeah, a lot of people in the office are on vacation. And, sometimes when the boss isn't there, people might take an extra 25 or 30-minute lunch because nobody's there. So that's a great time to network with people in the summertime. Okay, summertime, even, some holidays, a lot of people take off Christmas, so that's kind of hard, a little harder. But the summertime is a lot of months. So don't think that you can't network with people during summertime. Don't think that they don't hire people in the summertime. Don't think that they don't lay off people in the summertime, because they do, trust me. But if you're doing this summertime job search, you do it just like you do it any other time of the year. You reach out to people. You look on LinkedIn. You see who you can connect with on LinkedIn. You see who will come and have coffee with you. Or let you buy them a cup of coffee. Don't do it any different. If somebody's on vacation, they're on vacation. You keep it moving to the next person. Mark that in your book that this person is on vacation until this date. And then when that date comes back, you reach out to that person again. That's all you got to do. But you got to keep it moving. You don't change up. Now, here's the thing. You don't go on vacation. You don't take a vacation from job search. I know some people say, oh, sometimes you need to refresh and refocus. Yeah, but you know what? You need to eat too. And that $1,500 or $2,000 that you spend on that vacation will go a long way maybe to paying your mortgage. I'm sorry if I don't sound the core party line, but let me tell you something. I've been there, okay? And when you don't have a job, you don't need a big screen TV. When you don't have a job, you don't need a vacation in the Bahamas. When you don't have a job, you don't need a new car. Okay? You don't need to eat filet mignon every night. Okay? I need to do another show on coupons. I just thought about that. I did one a couple of years ago. I needed to do a show and tell you people how some ways you can save some money. But anyway, but when you are out of work, even if you have a spouse that's working, If you're not planning to just stay home, if you're planning to get back to work, my personal opinion, I would never take time off. I know people have done it. I know people who got laid off and say, you know what, I'm tired of that rabbit. I need to take a month off. And I know some of those same people have ended up in a situation where suddenly they are looking at can't find a job, and it's been 8 or 9 months they have been out of work, and they're freaking out because they can't find a job. But then they're thinking about that month they spent in the Bahamas, or that's a bad feeling, really bad feeling. So don't take any time off, in my opinion. My job is to get it. I'm laid off, I'm out of work. My job is to get a job. Period. I don't get a vacation from that because it's definitely not a paid vacation. Okay, so summertime job search, just like any other time of the year. Don't think it's any different. Here's one question. I just got laid off, and the company's offered me a 60-day grace period during which I can either look for a job in the company, or I can just take the money and run and go ahead and get my job search started. First question, do you want to work for that company still? If you do, then of course you'll stay the 60 days because it gives you access to the internal job search and all that. Second, if you don't want to go back to that company, I would still say keep coming in for the 60 days. And why would I say that? It keeps you doing something. It keeps you busy. One of the biggest things in job search is people aren't busy. You have a lot of time on your hands, and you don't know what to do with yourself. It's easy to say, well, I should be just looking for a job. And yeah, you should be looking for a job. But a lot of times people don't do that. They spend some of their time looking for a job, and then they spend time and they do other things. But if a company is giving you 60-day grace period to find a job, now, I'm not going to say be unethical and look for jobs in other companies, but I will say this. It's your life, okay? It would be great if you said, for this next 60 days, I'm working, they're giving me a desk to work at and a computer. I'm just going to look at our internal systems for jobs. And then when the 60 days is over and I get my severance, if I don't find an opportunity, then I'll start looking outside. That would be the very ethical and noble thing to do. I don't know how realistic it is. Take the 60 days, look for a job, period. Look for a job. So all you need to be doing is looking for a job, okay? I'm not saying doing anything unethical. I'm just saying spend that 60 days looking for a job. Next question. Job search is less, okay, here's an editorial. Job search is less about your qualifications and more about a lot of the intangibles around job search. What are the intangibles around job search? Your attitude. Big time, your attitude. Companies do not hire resumes. Companies hire people. The reason companies invite you in for an interview is because they like your resume. They don't hire you over the phone off of your resume. They invite you in because they want to see your attitude. Okay? Companies want to know what kind of attitude you have, what kind of person you are. Will you get along with the rest of the people in the company, in the department? That's why people come in. So yes, your resume is good to get the door open, but getting a job is about the intangibles. Getting a job is about fitting in to some extent, depending on what they're bringing you in for. Sometimes they bring in a hatchet man to lay off people. But the intangibles of job search are those things, again, it's your attitude, it's your presentation. How do you dress for the interview? That's another question I had. How should I dress for an interview? You should wear clothes. Okay? I say that to be funny, but it's true. wear clothes. Dress regardless, unless you are interviewing for a job, and even if you are interviewing for a job in a garage where there's going to be a lot of grease and oil, I'd say men wear a suit and tie. Ladies, wear something presentable. I say presentable. Remember something, and I'm not trying to bash ladies. You're not going to a club. I shouldn't have to say that, but I'm saying it. You're not going to a club. And the reason I say that is because somebody did one time come in for an interview with me. And she had something that was very low cut. And I mean, it was like ridiculously low cut for an interview. And I'll be blunt. She lost the job before she sat down. Because my feeling was, if you're going to come to an interview like this, how are you going to come to work? How are you going to represent my business? How are you going to represent my company to outside people, my department? How are you going to represent me if you come into an interview with your body hanging out? Yeah, ladies, you might think that, oh, okay, they'll see me and he'll hire me because they want to see me around the office every day. Nah. Yeah, we do want to see you around the office every day, but if you ain't doing any work, we're not hiring you because you look good and we want to see you strut around the office. We're hiring you because we need something done. And if we need something done and you can't do it, guess what? As good as you look, I can look at a magazine, I want to see a beautiful woman, but I need work done. Okay? Gentlemen, suit and tie. Suit and tie. Suit and tie. Now, if you're just graduating college and you haven't had a suit for a while, you get that first suit, do me a favor. Go to church a couple times. Wear that suit. Because yes, when you put a suit on for the first time, we can tell. We can look at you and go, this person probably got tags in that suit still. And it takes away from your professionalism. I'll be honest. There's nothing like seeing somebody in a suit where it's, when you should wear the suit. The suit shouldn't wear you. Okay? Go to church, go to the grocery store, go somewhere, put that suit on and walk around and get comfortable. Because the last thing you want to do is be sitting in an interview and you're not comfortable. You're worried about you're doing all this kind of thing because you forgot to take the price tag out the back. We don't want you doing that during the interview. We want you to be able to focus on presenting yourself. So act like you've worn a suit before. Unfortunately, when I grew up in the old days, you wore a suit to church every Sunday. If you ain't have but one suit, you wore that bad boy 52 weeks out of the year. That was all it was to it. Nobody said a word. Nowadays, young people come in and they wear whatever and blah blah. They got the pants hanging off in church. You want God to see you like that, really? But that's how people dress. That's just what they do sometimes. They dress like that. The downside of that is they never learn how to dress up. So, and ladies, y'all too. We see y'all, people as you're growing up, as young people, you grow up wearing whatever you want to church and everywhere else you want to wear to school and wherever else. And then you got to dress up one time for a job. And you come walking in and it's like, really, baby? Really? I'm sorry to call you baby, but really? You just bought that dress. You just bought them shoes. You ain't wore a pair of heels in 18 years. And now you going to come in here and you want a job as a floor, whatever, something where you walk around looking good. And I'm supposed to go, oh yeah, she look good. She know how to wear clothes. Mm-mm. Even if you have to get dressed the day before and just walk around your house or your apartment with your clothes on. Okay? But get comfortable in your clothes. Okay? Because yes, when you ain't comfortable, we can tell. Okay, yeah. So, let me see. What is the other question? So we covered that. We covered that. Let's talk a little bit more about qualifications for job search and what people look at. Job search is an art, not a science. What works for one person may not work for somebody else. You see the the master painters, and one of them has a certain style where they might do something, and somebody else tries to replicate it, and it doesn't work. Okay, what works for somebody may not work for you. Build your network. We were talking about what you do if you got laid off this week. First thing, your network is the most important thing to you. Your network in job search is the most important thing. Okay, it is more important than your resume. Okay, because your resume is just a piece of paper. Your network opens doors. Your network can speak for you. You know, your network can put in a good word for you with somebody. I've had it where somebody has walked my resume over to somebody and put in a good word for me. But it wasn't the resume that got me the interview. It was the good word that person put in for me. So build your network. Okay, that's the first thing you need to do. Build it on LinkedIn. Build it in real meat space, as we call it. But build your network. Build a network of people that can help you. Okay, can help you in your job search. Build that network. That is the most important thing, is to build that network. Once you've built it, reach out to it. Reach out to that network. When you sit down on Monday to start your job search, yes, number one, reach out to your network. Let people know. The thing is, people don't want to let people know that they've been laid off because they're ashamed. I ask you this question: what is more embarrassing, being let go, being out of work, or the sheriff coming up and putting a notice on your door and the movers coming in and putting your stuff on the curb? You tell me what's more embarrassing. Okay? Everybody gets laid off at some point, or most people. A lot of people will be laid off. There's no shame in it. Okay? Swallow your pride. There's no shame in being laid off. There is no shame in it. Okay? I know people who have been laid off not because of performance. They've been laid off because we call it organizational shift. The organization decided we're going in this direction now. And you just happen to be somebody. In my situation, I was laid off once because my new boss decided he wanted a data scientist in my position. I'm not a data scientist. I can play with numbers all day. I'm not a data scientist. He wanted a data scientist in this role. And I just didn't measure up. Plain and simple. So get over the shame. It's so many people have been laid off. So many people have found themselves without work. There's no shame in being without work. There is shame in not looking for work. Okay? There's shame in taking handouts and not trying to better yourself. That's where the shame comes in, but it doesn't come in being out of work. There is absolutely no shame in that. It is what it is. Okay? So don't think that people are going to laugh at you. They might laugh at you, but you know what? Let them laugh. Because whether they laugh or not, you still got to find a job. Okay? We've all been laughed at one time or another in our life about any number of things. We've all done something boneheaded. We've all tried to be cool and suave and debonair and fallen on our faces. We've all done that. And yet people laughed at us. But you know what? We showed up the next day and we kept it moving. Okay? So don't worry about shame. And I'm telling you that from experience, because I was laid off. I was out of work about 6 months before I told one of my good friends who lived across the street from me. I finally told him, and he was like, "How long you been out of work?" He was like, "Bruh, let me see if I can put in a good word down in where I work. Let me see if I can give you a name." This was the thing. He said, "Let me see if I can give you a name of somebody that you can talk to." That is what you want. That is why you build your network. Okay? So that they may not be hiring, but they know people who are hiring. People know people. Okay, you think about the Facebook mentality. People know people. You meet this person knows this person knows this. That's how LinkedIn works. One person knows the next person, knows the next person, knows the next person. Okay? Grow your network. Your network really and truly is the most important thing you have. The most important tool you have in job search is that network. It is truly the most important thing you have. Okay? So grow your network. Build your network. But don't just grow it to make it large. Don't just grow your network so you can say, "I know 487 people." Okay, you know 487 people. What industries are some of your people in? Well, I know that about 5 of them. What's the other 400 and whatever people? I don't know what they do. Never cared what they do, but I know them. You know. So anyway, so that's it for this week. We got about 90 seconds left, so I'm gonna start tying this up. I thank you as always. I thank everybody who's tuning in on Facebook Live. I'm trying to do 4 things at once here. Oh, good. We do this every Saturday, 10 o'clock. I ask you all who are listening, say a prayer for me, my family. My firstborn, my only born, is starting college I'm taking him tomorrow to his dorm. Yeah, people keep asking me, you gonna cry? Yeah. And? No. Repeat a few tears. I'm happy for him. This is what we planned. So just say a prayer that he does his best in school and he's safe. There's a lot of crazy people out there. I'm not going to get political, but if somebody gets in office, a little lot more crazy people are going to be out there. So, but anyway, we'll do this again. I hope the live was going on. I'm learning this Facebook Live thing. I'm trying to feel my way through it. But we'll be here next Saturday again, 10 a.m. Eastern time for a half hour. Have a great week, everybody. I'm going to end this now. But thank you, everybody who tuned in. Take care, and bye-bye.